I'm Rebekah West, and this is my poem, An Ode to Anatomy. I am skin and teeth and hair and eyes, all put together, assembled in a way that lets me be alive. A tongue and rosy cheek, but there is so much more to you and me. Let's examine straight locks and curls, blonde versus blonde and brunette against brunette, because we are made up of intricacies anyway, so why not? The mouth that's made of pinks and stained reds and oranges and yellows and greens and blues and indigos and violets, because Roy G. Biv is more than an abbreviation. Let's talk about hands and fingers and feet and toes, toes too many or incomplete. 10 fingers or 11, what does it matter to me? There are legs that come in 1,000 shades, dark and light and in between, and we name these colors all sorts of different names that seem strange to me. Everything is strange, though, if you look at it correctly. Tell me about the tongue that turns the color of a Slurpee, that twists and turns and gets tied up in popsicle sticks and straws and nerves. Use it to tell me all your different words. Let's discuss eyes, blue and green and brown and gray and everything in between. It seems to me we are made of in-betweens. What are we in between? Let's pretend we know of what we speak when we let our minds leak out of our mouths and down our chins. Chins are funny things, but we can't discuss them because we never talk about chins for some reason. What about that jaw, and the lines it draws, and cheekbones that we like to use to cut and slice? Who knows why? Head on back to eyes and how they peer through some disguises but not others, how they let me see everything in front of me, how they let you read the words on this page in their arbitrary order, or so it would seem. Why not philosophize our stomachs, how they hold food even though the tongue lets us know if things taste bad or good? How they are filled with acid that sits placid unless we anger it, and then we are really in the belly of the beast. So stay healthy, please. Let's go find our ears that let us hear the crashing of the ocean waves clawing against the rocks and crying out to the skies. Or skin, marvelous skin, back again to where we began, because who doesn't love a good beginning? Skin that lets me feel the driving rain beating into it, the howling wind made of frigid air like a refrigerator, or a quiet play put on by words and watched by birds because there's not a word to say they don't love art too. Just maybe not as much as those chosen few. Let's not get distracted, though, like we so often do. Let's head back to our heads and our minds, our marvelous minds. It's incredible what a brain can do to you or me if we let it have its way, because we try not to, but every dog has its day, and sometimes we get carried off by our thoughts to a whole other page. It's such an entertainer. It gets us laughing and crying and sighing and lying. And I know I've said it before, but bear with me because I can get a little distracted. And vocal cords. What truly marvelous things they are. They can start and end wars. Nothing without the mind. You thought I got distracted, didn't you? The mind is the reason we think and we feel, and everything and every thought, every think comes back to it, if you will. And I hope you will, because it's so much fun. Speaking of fun, it's in charge of that too, yet it wouldn't do much good without the rest of you. The mind is capable of great goodness and graciousness, but it can't carry out without the body, so it had best not get too haughty, that wonderful squelching pink glob, like bubblegum tasted by your tongue, but better. Yes, it's easy to love a good brain. Let's not neglect, though, your nails, and isn't it interesting we don't have tails? We could talk hips or revisit lips or go into our bones and blood. Blood, bright red blood that fuels us like gasoline. It seems to me essential, carrying air everywhere. The color everyone craves for a dress or something less pretty when we get violent. Let's get into how it pools in purples and reds and yellows where we bruise, how sometimes it can even seem black, how easy blood finds it to escape our skin. Let's talk about nerves and not the emotional ones. Let's talk about the jarring feel of a hit to the stomach, a blow to the eye. The roiling and the sinking of pain gets me thinking about how I'd rather not feel it. I've been told that's common, and it doesn't surprise me at all that people don't enjoy the sickening rise and fall that comes with the snapping of a bone or the cracking of a joint sometimes. Life isn't pain, though, so let's have a chat about, I don't know, let's say teeth. How they chew and they chomp, and how they always somehow manage to get so horribly lost. They can be gleaming white or a lackluster, languid, lazy-looking yellow, or hello, this just in, they can be black too. Shall we go over eyelashes, which always seem to get passed up and never get loved enough, except when we discuss their length, their greatest strength, or so it would seem? How we find them soft on our cheeks or caught up in our eyes, anywhere but hanging tremulously from the ends of our eyes' lids. Let's give a little more credit to fingers, how they grasp and they release, how they made this piece possible for me to write, to type, to get down on a virtual piece of paper. Last but most certainly not least, let's laud the heart, that lovely, loveful thing, always overflowing. Let's just take a moment for its pumping, its thumping, its powerful pitter-patter, its rises and falls and beats per minute. How it increases and decreases is beyond belief. It goes too fast and it's dangerous, and then too slow and it's dangerous, just like when we blame it for the faults of the mind, ever dangerous. But that's life, always a little bit dangerously dangerous. If we go too far, our heart stops. And it's been known to break at inconvenient times. Quite a word for the heart, inconvenient. And yet, through all this, where would we be without our beautiful, beating, bleeding hearts?